It's time to get to the part of the show you've all been waiting for, the reason everyone's here tonight. That's right, politics. As usual, our first segment of the show is a closer look, and if you're watching at home, you may not know this, but we have an entire audience of Closer Look superfans here tonight. In fact, this is really cool. Someone gave me a friendship bracelet that says a closer look. A bunch of people came dressed like me from my different eras, like my man at desk telling joke era, and that's my only one. Anyway, the point is, we're going to talk about the topic you all know and love. That's right, the government shutdown. We'll be quick about it. For more on this, it's time for a closer look. We're in the second week of the shutdown, and if it goes on much longer, things can break down quickly, as we learned during the last shutdown.
The Department of Homeland Security would see more than 14,000 employees furloughed. The Education Department, more than 2,000. And more than 32,000 Health and Human Services employees would be off the job. Previous government shutdowns have stalled food inspections, canceled immigration hearings, and delayed travel, with TSA employees and air traffic controllers forced to work without pay.
During the most recent shutdown in 2019, if you remember, many parks remained open, but no visitor services were available. So nobody was at the visitor centers, trash piled up all over the parks.
Trash like this, diapers, burrito wrappers, coffee cups, and more, is building up in the parks we represent.
That's disgusting. Trash like this shouldn't be in our national parks. It should be in our subways with Pizza Rat. Little update on Pizza Rat. He apparently had a bit of a health scare recently, and he's okay, but now he's Broccoli Rat. This is how dysfunctional our government is. We can't even take out the trash. Our government is like a lazy teen. But I took out the trash yesterday, and I'm still tired from that. Can't Grandma take it out? She's not doing anything. A government shutdown affects everything from the health department to the Department of Education to the tortured poets department. I know that's pandering. I just want to keep you guys interested. And if you're watching this on the TV at an airport bar, you might want to order another drink because there's a good chance your flight is delayed.
We begin this morning with a government shutdown entering its 8th day and now impacting airports nationwide. The FAA reporting flight delays for a second straight day yesterday amid shortages with air traffic controllers. And the agency warns it may get worse.
Just a short time ago, we learned that the FAA is now expanding the list of air traffic control facilities dealing with staffing shortages amid the government shutdown. That list expanded to now include Chicago O'Hare International Airport. This is one of the busiest control towers in the country.
The FAA is reporting delays in Nashville, Chicago, Boston, Philadelphia, Houston, Newark, Denver, Phoenix, and Las Vegas, while warning Indianapolis, Albuquerque, and Dallas could also soon be affected.
So basically all the cities, like everywhere but Tampa and Milwaukee. If you're about to fly from Tampa to Milwaukee, you good. That was so many cities. That was like them saying the FAA is reporting delays in Chicago, Boston, Houston, Vegas, Xanadu, Atlantis, Wakanda, and Emerald cities. That's right, the flying monkeys have been grounded. Also, it's so shocking when there's a list of airports experiencing problems and LaGuardia isn't one of them. That would be like if the health inspectors in your town shut down all the restaurants except the Arby's. You'd be like, what? And I know, LaGuardia is a nice airport now, but they still doing delays. The point is, the shutdown is bad for travelers, and it's getting worse.
Turbulent travel at Burbank Airport and other airports across the country tonight as the government shutdown continues and air traffic controllers are not showing up for work.
SkyCal is live at the Burbank Airport, where not a single air traffic controller is on duty tonight.
We just spoke to air traffic controllers here at Burbank Airport in the last few minutes, and they can now confirm that they will be heading home at 4:15 this afternoon. As of 4:15 this afternoon, there will be no air traffic controllers inside of that tower right there.
If you're already anxious about flying, finding out that there are no air traffic controllers working at your airport is definitely not going to be a comforting thing.
Yeah. I would call that a correct, if massively understated observation. That's like saying if you're already afraid of roller coasters, you're not going to like seeing the sign that says all theme park employees are drunk today. And the effects of air traffic controller shortages are not hypothetical. Planes are already being delayed on tarmacs.
Breaking news, there are no traffic controllers at Burbank Airport starting right now through tonight.
This is kind of surreal. This is unprecedented at Burbank Airport right now. This poor Southwest jet that's been sitting here in the run-up area for a long time, I think they're kind of confused. Are we allowed to go? Do we need to wait? What is the procedure on this?
I like how they're talking about the Southwest jet like it's an animated airplane from a Pixar movie. What are you just doing sitting on the tarmac, Southwest? Oh, I'm confused. I don't know what to do. Also very mean to be reporting from a helicopter in the sky about a plane that's stuck on the ground. That's poor Southwest jet sitting on the runway. I bet they'd love to be up here with me in the sky. I can go wherever I want. Thinking about Tampa, maybe Milwaukee. But good news, everyone. Get ready to pop some champagne because the plane did eventually take off.
Very, very strange. Definitely disconcerting. There's still a lot of questions about what we're allowed to do, what other planes are allowed to do. Fortunately, obviously, everyone here is extremely professional. Looks like this jet is getting ready to take off right now, the Southwest jet. So we're just going to have to see how this plays out. They know how to handle these pilots in these situations, but it's very, very strange and frankly a little bit dangerous. So we're just going to have to see how this plays out throughout the day here.
As we see the plane gaining speed here, let's just wait a couple seconds if we can and see if it does take off, because so many questions, right? Can you still take off? What about planes coming into Burbank Airport? Here we go, liftoff.
That's how bad things are right now. It counts as good news when an airplane at an airport takes off. They're treating a Southwest flight at Burbank Airport like it's a space shuttle to Mars. Also, going forward, when we're talking about air travel, I never want to hear the words, "let's see how this plays out." Can you imagine hearing that right before you take off? Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. Travel time to Burbank is approximately 5 hours and 35 minutes, but unfortunately, there are no air traffic controllers in the tower. So we're just gonna have to guess when we should land. Also, I had kind of a late night last night. I was out drinking with some old college buddies. You know the types, the kind of fellas who keep saying, "come on, just one more." And the next thing you know, it's 3 a.m. and you're at that one Arby's the health department didn't shut down. Anyway, let's see how this plays out. By the way, if you are curious what's actually going on inside the cockpit while all this is happening, it is unfortunately not very reassuring.
There will be no air traffic controllers inside of that tower right there. Instead, they will be handing off their duties to SoCal TRACON. It's their approach and departure team out of San Diego who will be talking to the pilots who are landing and taking off here at Burbank.
Air traffic control audio paints a picture of the confusion some pilots were dealing with behind the scenes.
Just give him a headset on. You said everything's closed for our clearances? The clearance is closed, ground's closed, local's closed. The tower is closed due to staffing. So you just contact SoCal on the 800 number in the green book for your clearance.
Pilots have to call an 800 number while they're flying the plane? What's the number? 1-800-0. Imagine waiting on hold while you're flying a commercial jetliner trying to figure out when to land.
Thank you for calling Air Traffic Control. For Spanish, press 1. For French, press 2. For Japanese, press 3. For Sanskrit, press 4. For English, press 5. Please hold. In a few words, please tell us how we can direct your call. You can say things like customer service, or I need help landing a plane, or let's see how this plays out.
As a reminder, this shutdown is happening because of healthcare. Premiums are about to skyrocket. Democrats just want to extend the subsidies that will prevent that from happening. Republicans admit it's a problem and claim they'll negotiate after the government reopens. But Senator Bernie Sanders isn't so sure.
President Trump is now calling on Democrats to reopen the government, writing on Truth Social, "I am happy to work with the Democrats on their failed health care policies or anything else, but first they must allow our government to reopen."
Tonight he posted on Truth Social, basically, you need to reopen the government first before you can have that conversation. Yeah. Are you willing to do that?
No, of course not. We trust them. Look, they have had months and months to negotiate, and they have chosen not to. The Speaker of the House has said to his members, you don't even have to come back to Washington, D.C. Before any Democrat, sane Democrat, would agree to anything, it has to be explicit, written down, cross their fingers, you know, and so forth and so on. You can't, open the government, we'll negotiate with you. Really? Who believes that?
Bernie always shoots it straight. Maybe we should hire him as an air traffic controller.
Okay, United, you could go Southwest. You've got to wait. I know you're confused, Southwest.
The president could easily solve this by negotiating with Democrats in Congress, but he refuses. So now our government is descending into chaos. Just remember, the next time you're traveling, your flight might be much like a song by our next guest.
Canceled.
This has been a closer look.
It's a fight-off!